Welcome to Catalyst Conversations, the podcast where we spark powerful change in women's wealth. I'm Hadriana Leo, a wealth coach, counselor, and strategist, and each week we dive into the conversations, strategies, and stories that help women confidently create the life they've always dreamed of. So grab your favorite bevy, settle in, and let's get started on transforming your relationship with money. This is Catalyst Conversations, igniting change in women's wealth. Let's spark the conversation. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Catalyst Conversations. And with me today is my guest, Anick Silencieux. I got it. Anick Silencieux. And she's here with us today. And of course, I asked her for a saying or a phrase that she really likes, resonates with her, with kind of like the things that she's doing. And this is what Anick said. She said, "We don't win unless everyone wins." And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's not how it works in the Olympics. So, Anick, tell me what about that phrase, that saying that resonates with you, and what does it mean for you?
Well, this is kind of driving my life right now in terms of obviously the work that I do, but also family life. My mom really was the inspiration for that. My mom is one of the oldest in her family of 13.
Wow.
And when she moved out of Haiti and she made it in Canada, she helped everybody else. And she said, I remember her saying things like, if the rest of the family doesn't win, it's no use. I'm not winning. So it kind of always stayed with me and always uplifting the people around you. It's not just you. And when you think about if I win the lottery, I have to give equal amount to everybody. I know a lot of people don't say that, but or else you're only going to be that person. If you
Yeah.
do well and you help others do well, then we're all doing well together. It's
Yeah.
not if you're just at the top, it doesn't make sense to me. And that's that sense of community that I take in my family life and also in the work that I do. So I always thought that was a powerful statement that can kind of go in different places. We don't win
Yeah.
unless everybody wins.
Yeah. And you're right. It does fit across kind of all spheres of life, professional life, your
Mhm,
family life, your
mhm,
social life, even the relationships that you're having, whether they are romantic or otherwise. If there is
absolutely.
that sense that my progress, my success is
Mhm,
going to be meaningful to everyone in that I can help someone else succeed,
mhm.
that to me is, it's almost like success becomes contagious.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and I quite enjoy that. Well, I'm really happy your mom put that into you, because
Mhm,
that saying, I mean, I know you see it, but I see it in the work that you do, because
mhm,
I see you trying to help as many people as you possibly can with the work
mhm,
that you do. So let me introduce you properly, Anik, to
mhm,
the audience who's listening and watching. I like to have the self description, not the professional bio. So when I
mhm.
asked Anik to tell me a little bit about herself, here's what she said. Anik says, "I'm a proud Black woman, whoop, whoop,
Mhm,
born and raised in Montreal to Haitian parents, building a legacy rooted in purpose and impact." Anik, you are singing my song. You see my t-shirt? You see my t-shirt? It's wealthy on purpose. And
mhm,
if you've read my book, you know it's not just only on purpose as in meaningful intention, but
mhm,
on purpose because wealth must be tied to purpose. Okay.
mhm.
I digress. Okay.
Mhm.
And Nick went on to say that purpose and impact drives, whether it's through her career as an engineer or through her passion as a nonprofit leader, she's driven to contribute meaningfully to society. She goes on to share more, and I'll tell you that Anik is well trained, she is driven, and she is the executive director, founder and executive director of Support Black Charities, which is a groundbreaking platform dedicating to empowering Black led, Black serving and Black focused organizations around the world. Anick, when do you have time to just relax?
That's the thing. I'm gonna quote somebody else now. It's very strange interview that said it was Madonna back in the days. But Madonna said, I don't need vacation if what I do, I love it. Right? If
Ah,
if if what you do every day excites you,
yes.
it's just fun. And I've been working on building this work around things that I really like and I want to do. So I work a lot, but it's I shouldn't probably say this to you, but there's a couple of things like the financial stuff when I have to do bookkeeping and all that. These are
Yes.
the things I don't like to do. So that
Trust
I
me.
don't always like to do, but it's necessary, right?
Yes, yes.
But the rest, I just like creating. I like the people I work with. I like talking to organizations. I like discovering something new, a new country, a new organization, a new what did I discover lately? The TAR syndrome. I never knew about this. So I
Ah,
invite your audience to go and look into the TAR syndrome. It's a physical disability. People have short arms. And if you have a disability as a Black person, you have a double minority.
oh,
So
yes.
understanding those things, I was like, how did I not know about the TAR syndrome? But yeah,
Yes.
there's a huge population affected by this. And there's a gentleman, a Black gentleman. So I digress. I'm going into this guy, but I I love what I'm discovering. I'm rediscovering what it means to be Black in the world. So
Hmm.
understanding who you are as Black in Canada and trying not to impose my North American or my Canadian standard on the rest of the world.
Yes.
Kenya is doing its thing. Rwanda is doing its thing. South Africa is, everybody has a different custom. I can go in the Caribbean the same way. I'll
Yeah.
do it to Brazil. Black is has a different meaning, and I love learning what that means. Especially like Brazil was an
Yes.
interesting one. So it's fun. I love what I do. It is sometimes you have to do things you don't like, and that takes hard. It's harder to do, but
Right.
I haven't taken a lot of vacation because I'm always worried about, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. But as the organization grow, as we continue to capacity build, we're gonna have a bigger team, and we'll be able to delegate. So when I got with my business developer at the beginning, he said, I think you need 2 to 3 years to build this the way you want it, and then
Hmm.
you'll be able to go on the beach. So I'm like, okay, got it. Got it. So that's how we talk. That's how we talk about it. But
Yeah.
I understand I'm still in the development phase.
Hmm.
And there's been kind of two phases with the organization. First, I was a one-woman show, and
Yes.
then I added incredible, passionate people to the team. And so that's the second phase, and I've been able to develop. So now I'm in the development phase, and I'm in the second year now, and I think another year and a half and then I'll be able to really go on the beach, take this vacation. But so far, it's not too bad. It's not
You
too
know
bad.
what?
I do take days, but it's
Yeah.
not too bad.
That's the thing though, and that's the point. You're doing something you love, and you get to integrate rest in your
Mhm,
day to day.
mhm,
You don't have to be on the beach to rest and rejuvenate. You
mhm,
can
mhm,
take a 20-minute nap, rest
yeah,
and rejuvenate, just disconnect, disengage,
mhm,
and refuel. Let your
mhm,
body actually get a break before you go
mhm.
again. It's
Yes.
I think there's this idea, and you know what? The idea of needing the beach and the resort and all that for rest is part of the way Black people, Black bodies continue to be enslaved because
Mm.
the financial hit that you take as a Black person makes
Mhm,
it next to impossible for you to be at that all-inclusive resort,
mhm,
sipping what do they drink? Martinis, whatever it is they drink. I don't do alcohol, but sipping all of that stuff by the pool and slathering yourself with suntan lotion. That's not typical of a Black person's experience, unless
mhm,
of course you've poured a lot of time and energy and effort into it. So I think rest, especially for a Black person, is very important. I will plug here a book called Rest is Resistance.
Mm.
I never remember the author's name, but it's a beautiful, beautiful take on why, especially as a Black human, we
Mhm.
need rest. Okay, we both went off on a bit of a tangent here. But Anick, I'm really, really happy with the work that you're doing. I remember was it last year or the year before when
Mhm.
you had your little gala, and that was
Yes,
lovely.
last year.
Yeah,
Last year.
last year, and I was able to go with my daughter. We went, we had a wonderful time,
Mm.
and I was blown away by the sheer number of organizations that your work is impacting. How many
Mhm.
countries do you think are currently being supported by the work of Support Black Charities?
22.
22 and counting.
Yes, and counting. There's so many
Wow.
more to go
Yes,
and
that's something pretty
represent.
special.
It's when I first started the organization, I wanted to when I spoke to a few people, they said, why don't you just start by what's in Toronto or Canada because this is where
Mhm.
you are, or Ontario because this is where you are.
Right,
And I said, well, no, I have so many friends from the islands, from Africa, and I feel that being able to expose an organization to them might be a way to outreach to home or have a connection to home. So I
right.
said, no, I think I want to still do it the world. So it maybe that was too big, too much at the beginning,
Mhm.
because I essentially the world was my customers or my clients or the
Right.
people I wanted to help. It was a bit much, but I'm glad I did it because there's nobody else that does it. A lot of people are they have a directory within Canada, within the US.
Mhm.
None have the whole Black world. And I really wanted to tap into the dynamic diaspora, the Black diaspora, and to be able to do something everywhere. You can really tap into the diaspora and see how they want to support their home country. They
Mhm.
can do it through an organization, and also it keeps you connected to what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Because a lot of organizations in a Black community, I don't, and this is what I'm trying to dispel, but a lot of organizations are um, obviously helping different issues in the region, in local
Mhm.
regions.
Right.
And so that keeps you updated of what's going on. When you see an influx of different types of organization, is because something is going on in that area. But it's also just, I also want to show that in the Black community, there's organizations about everything, anything really.
Yeah.
It's not just AIDS in Africa, poverty in the Caribbean, or gun violence in Toronto or in the US or drugs.
Right.
It's not just that. There's entrepreneurship, there's arts, there's festivals, there's cooking, there's so many. And that's the variety that I really want to showcase because I myself started my career started thanks to a nonprofit. So I'm not in drugs. I don't have AIDS. I don't deal with gun violence, but still a Black organization helped me and
Right.
helped me with my career. So that's kind of what I wanted to showcase with this. So there is so many much more organizations to go. My work
Mhm.
is cut out for the rest of my life, and my legacy is set, really. This will definitely go on past me. That's the way I'm
Yeah.
setting it up. And there's organizations stopping and new ones coming on.
Yeah.
And that's what's exciting with this.
You
Absolutely.
know, I really like that because I really like how you highlighted that we kind of view philanthropy, especially when it comes to helping Black communities, through a very narrow lens.
Mhm.
And it's often also through this lens that we're fixing something bad, as
Mhm.
in like guns or
Mhm.
violence or something like that.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
there are charities that are looking to enhance, looking
Mhm.
to bring more breadth, possibly looking to bring more access even, because
Yeah.
these are some of the things that we're facing. Sometimes it's not that we're having horrible behavior to correct.
Mhm.
Sometimes we just need access, a door
Mhm.
open or a
Mhm.
foot in. So I'm loving
Mhm.
that. The other thing I really like too is that it helps me. I'll tell you personally, kind of like you shared before about the TAR syndrome, it helps me
Mhm.
remember that my problems are not the be all end all of the world. My challenges are
Mm-hmm.
not the only challenges out there. It helps to humble me, I think, when you look at some of the other things other Black bodies are being subjected to in the world,
Mm-hmm.
some of the things we take for granted that others are wishing for, and we can have an impact. So I really, really appreciate that through various perspectives, your work is creating impact. So tell
Mm-hmm.
us then how you see yourself. How are you currently being funded?
Mm-hmm. It's the name of the game for nonprofits, and this is a message hopefully to the world that I'm trying to really, really put out there. It's about diversification of funds.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to rely on government grants because the government, as we know in several countries now currently, and probably when this airs, it just can go in with the wind, right?
Yeah.
So it's about diversification of funds. For us specifically, we have earned income on some of our programs, donations.
Mm-hmm.
We have grants, and there's another one I was going to say. What is it? Well, that's basically the main ones.
Right.
And I also want to say sharing resources is a type of funding. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily sharing money, but
In
sharing
kind.
resources, it's
Yeah.
in kind, right? You have a space, can I use your space? You just help me. I didn't have to rent a space,
Right.
right? So strategic partnerships, sharing resources, this is also a way to help your organization in the funding department. So
Yeah.
it's really, I always say that nonprofits can have a profit, and
Oh,
you better have a profit because you become more adaptable. We all saw what COVID did,
yes.
um, when people needed to adapt. I know a lot of organizations that I was kind of following, and I haven't seen them after COVID. They had to
Oh,
completely
wow.
change, and some people don't have the resources to be able to go through that change. So you need to have a profit to be able to become sustainable, to
Mhm.
also um, be to kind of control your destiny,
Yes.
because when you rely on grants are very specific. You need to spend
Yes.
it this way for this and that. So it doesn't give you leeway. And what I'm noticing a lot is some grants don't allow the people in the organization to pay themselves.
Correct.
So you can't sustain, you can be sustainable that way.
Right.
So it's for us, these are the three ways. We understand that donations come and go. Obviously,
Mhm.
Black History Month is a big month.
Right.
You have Black Philanthropy Month, which is in August, which is another big month.
Oh, I didn't know
Um,
that.
yeah, it's so in the cycle, then you have the Thanksgiving, then you have Giving Tuesday, then you have the holidays. And if something's going on in the world, maybe. So this is what donations are. Grants, again, they're specific to a project. A lot of times they're
Mhm.
project based. You don't have a project, you don't get a
No
grant.
grants. That's right.
So for nonprofits, the name of the game is diversification of funding. So there are in total 9 sections, but I'll tell you what we're into. So we're
Right.
donations, of course, is how we get funded through grants, government grants, and through earned income. And it's
Mhm.
important for organizations to have earned income. All our programs have a free and a paid component. Because free is because as a nonprofit, we do want to provide a certain service,
Right.
but we do have a paid component because at a certain level, we have cost to be able to
Yeah.
deliver a little bit more higher quality or more for a certain service. So,
Right.
and this is important for sustainability. And some of the others, you can have investments, you can have stocks or investment in stocks, you can have
Mhm.
property. Um, what else can you have? I think you can have, this is a way that I learned. It's about insurance. So
Ah, yes.
you may know this when people give the gain of the insurance when they pass away. So this is one of the ways that you can, I mean, the big hospitals, this is how they get funded. And they're funded for years to come because people promise their gains on their life insurance, but they haven't passed away yet. So
That's
when they
right.
do in 30, 50 years, that money will go to the Humber Foundation because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I
know
was
that's what they do.
Yeah, I did a thing one time. I think I had taken my daughter, she had to be at the hospital for some reason. And I
Mhm,
remembered walking by and seeing a family's name on the wall of one of the wings. And
mhm,
it did start something in me because I'm also very community focused. I do it differently, but I like to impact other people's lives positively. And
mhm,
it did have me wondering what amount of wealth, what kind of wealth does it take to fund a hospital wing? And in having that thought, I mean, running these medical facilities takes millions and millions and millions
mhm,
of dollars. But it did have me thinking, and I wrote a post about it at that time. Even with my level of wealth, I can create impact. I
mhm.
can support and create meaningful change. So I'm thinking organizations like yours can benefit. We would probably love if you would have some of those hospital-sized
Of
donations,
course, of course.
but at every level, we can be intentional and support Black charities through your business, Support Black Charities. So how do you help, you know, potential donors kind of start thinking more strategically about how they can support work like yours?
So, thank you. That's a great question, and I love to talk about this because to approach donors or people from our community or outside our community, um, people should look into it for two things. If you're an individual, giving to a nonprofit or a charity allows you to get a tax receipt specifically to a charity. And I should mention that in Canada, nonprofit and charity are two different things.
Yes,
When
I
you're
know.
when you're registered charity, you have the ability to provide a tax receipt. As
Right.
a nonprofit, you can't, but you can associate yourself with a registered charity that can do it on your behalf. And this is our setup. Our
Okay.
setup right now at this, we're going through the charity process, but right now we have a trustee, and if uh, uh, donors want to have a tax receipt, we're able to give one.
Okay.
And at some point, I have to say that this is our goal, to become a registered charity so we can help other nonprofits and be a trustee for them, because specifically in the
Mm.
Black community, the ratio of registered charity to nonprofit is really, there's a big gap there.
You know what, Nanik, and I'll tell you honestly, I
Mhm,
one of the organizations that I was on the board of up until I think the year before, I
mhm,
was helping them transition from not for profit to charitable organization, like registered charity. It's
mhm,
a headache.
mhm. Yeah, I
It's a
agree.
headache. It is daunting.
Mhm,
The hoops you have to jump through
mhm,
to make the transition. There were times in the process that I was the treasurer of the organization. There were times
mhm.
in the process I'm like, it's is it worth it? Do you know what I mean? It's and I can see how that would be even more daunting for people in the
Mhm,
Black community because there are checks and balances and measures in that qualification process that
mhm.
we don't always have readily available in our
But we
community.
don't know about them too. We
We
just don't
don't
know.
know about it.
Absolutely. So this
Yeah.
this I think this is a big barrier in Black organization being unfunded.
Hmm.
Because if I continue the I see a lot of people use their donation to a registered charity as a wealth strategy. It's
Yes.
wealth management. We all see Tim Hortons, McDonald's, Walmart. They all have a kids camp. It's not because
Yes.
they care about the kids. It's because they need to put their money somewhere
Yeah.
to save on their profits. I mean,
Correct.
you know, I'm talking to, you know this for sure, right?
Yes.
And if I go back and look, I like to talk about this subject because I've seen how it is in our community and how it is in other communities. In other communities, they have wealth and then they create a nonprofit or a charity to be able to manage their money. It's wealth
Correct.
creation, right?
Right.
As opposed in the Black community, We create nonprofit and charities because we're addressing an issue. And if we become, and through the charity, sometimes people are able to become a social enterprise or start a business to fund their nonprofit. It's like
Correct.
two different ways of doing it.
Yep.
But when we study other communities, for a charity, for them is wealth management
Mm-hmm.
and brand recognition, right?
Right.
So I'm trying to challenge the black or educate or share information on donors who don't know what should I give, or black businesses that I always tell black businesses, if you want to be in a community, you should consider donating to an organization. And the pushback is, what should I donate? I don't know them, blah, blah, blah. But I said, okay,
Right.
first of all, you need to choose the organization. I can help you with that. That's what we do. But on the other side, think about it not only as a donation, but it's wealth management. If you do it correctly, you can actually save. You can keep more of your money,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the amount that you give. You just have to figure out what is that amount that is the sweet spot that allows you to really give you a tax benefit for
Yeah.
your business or even
Right.
personally. But the other side is, as a business, you have a line item for marketing, for branding, right? So if you were to use some of that marketing money and donation to an organization and you partner on an event, your logo is everywhere. You get to
Yes.
talk at the event, you get to have a presence in the community. At the end of the day, marketing is what? You want to market your brand. So
Yes.
you could do it through a black charity. You can find you, and again, this is something that we like to do. I can find you the perfect charity that will match a little bit where you want to go and what you want to do. Um, and so this is how I talk to donors. As a business, it could be wealth management and it could be branding. It's a
Mm-hmm.
marketing expense. When you
Right.
sponsor an event, think of it as marketing expense. So your logo is going to be everywhere. I
Right.
went to a conference, the Black Tech conference. All the banks were, and this is the first event that I've seen TD, RBC, Bank of Montreal, CIBC. They were all there.
Yep.
All
Yep.
of them were there, big boots, right?
Yep.
On all the all of, I've never seen all the banks in one, but they know who's going to be there. They
That's
know
right.
that they just want to be visible to the black community. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the way I talk to businesses. You can get something out of your donation. Let's
Yeah.
do a little research. You can definitely get something out of it. And for the individual, it's about finding the registered charity where you can get the tax receipt. You could also find that what number gives you that benefit that you're looking for.
Right.
And I have to say that, the minimum is above $200. It
Okay.
depends. There are calculators, and we actually do have one on our website. There's a charity calculator that you put the amount, because every province has a different amount, so
Right.
different percentage, and depending on where you are, the amount you give it, and you put your salary or the income that you have, it gives you that number. And when I studied this a little bit more, they said Alberta
Mm-hmm.
has the best percentage in terms of
Okay.
when you give, it gives you the most benefit for your taxes out of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Alberta is the province that has the most millionaires.
Huh.
It's just like it correlates. These are people that learn how to keep more of their money by
Yep.
donating because they can donate more to charities. So
Yeah.
these are little things that I think I've learned. I didn't know that before, and I learned because I wanted to know, how do you attract? How do you speak to donors? How do you
Mm-hmm.
speak to say you're not just giving, you're also getting something from it,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So the marketing and the wealth management, the wealth solution is
Yeah.
one thing that people can think about. And to talk about the obviously the wing that you saw at the hospital, obviously everybody would like to get there, but I think the benefit of being a charity is you're able to get those types of donations. So I know for sure the hospital where my sister works, they had changed the name because they got a $50 million donation. So they
That's
actually
right.
changed the name of the hospital,
That's
right?
right.
But don't think that it's just a donation. They got tax credit for this.
hundred
Absolutely.
percent. 100%.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
it's for, I say, us, nonprofits and charities, to put ourselves in the position where we educate our supporters of these ways to support us. right? So now that I say, when nonprofits talk to their supporters, let them know that they can get a tax receipt if that's the case. If not, then go and find a registered charity that you can have a discussion with and say, would you be my trustee? So and when that happens, sometimes you have to share your financial statements every year. It's a
Okay.
fiscal responsibility, right?
Right.
So there are ways to attract people. So the same way with the entrance, you have to be a registered charity to be able to
Right.
take in that. And the charity has to have a structure to be able to take in insurance. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I'm learning about that structure right now. I don't know
Right.
what it is. It's it's a little bit daunting right now because like I told you, I'm financially challenged, but um I need to learn it.
Yes,
This is
absolutely.
one of the ways that I can diversify the income. And what if I was to go to our Black community and give them that wealth solution,
Right.
that wealth management solution to say, think about, when you pass away and you don't want, see, I'm still not so versed about that area, but I know that you can save on the taxes on the estate or something like this. I don't want to say too much,
100%. Yep.
but
Yep.
so if families know that, they'll know you can keep more of your money if you donate to a charity the gains of your life insurance or something like this. So I have to educate myself first, and then I get to educate my supporters to let them know, and then I have to have the structure. It is a structure that you need to have, because if somebody comes to you and says, "I'd like to do that," you need to have the structure in place to be able to have it. And
Yeah.
it's happened to me. I was in 2019. I was a second year because I started in 2018,
Hmm.
and I thought it was a scam, to tell you the truth. I didn't know anything about it. When the
Yes.
person said that, I was like, I responded. I was like, I don't remember. I know I responded, but I kind of brushed them off
Yeah.
because I was like, "What is this donating?" Is like I should have made a little bit of research, but I wasn't set up at the time. But
Right.
now I'm like, no, I need to get set up because this is how hospitals do it.
Yeah.
Hospitals have a huge portion into the insurance industry. So yeah, so to talk about funding, there's several ways to do it, and one of the most important one I would say is earn income. A lot of
Hmm.
nonprofits don't think they can have a profit, and they should have a profit. They should
Right.
make a profit. It helps them with to remain adaptable if something happens,
Yeah.
and
I
it,
think
it could be different things.
the idea of not for profit, well, that's how I look at it.
Hmm.
You are not for profit, only saying that there should be nothing unallocated in your revenue stream. So everything you earn should be going towards something. There should
Hmm.
not be anything that is like, oh, let's pay out some dividends because we're doing so well. Let's give
Exactly,
bonuses because
exactly.
that's the only thing.
Yeah,
As
that's the
long as
difference.
everything's allocated, the line item might just be capital reserves. That means
Hmm.
you're a nonprofit.
That's it.
You're meeting your. I mean, I'm not into the law of how it works, but
Hmm.
my thinking for a not-for-profit is that your operations are designed not with the first objective of creating a surplus, but that
Hmm.
all revenues are assigned and put back into the entity
Hmm.
towards that purpose that it was created for. That's how I read not for profit. That does
Hmm.
not mean that you cannot have funds in excess of your operations. That's not
Hmm.
what that is. We just need the light item. But that's,
Hmm.
you know what, Anick, this reminds me of, I think I did this just last week. It will probably come out um, in mid-February, end of March time, so well before this episode goes live. But we need to be at the table in the spaces where these conversations are happening,
Hmm.
because life insurance as a wealth building strategy, that's not new. It has not, this has been around for
Hmm.
ages.
Hmm.
And using donations as a tax maneuver,
Hmm.
ages. You don't
Hmm.
need the secret bank account in the Bahamas. We can meet all the requirements of the law, abide within the law, not
Hmm.
have to be earning millions to leverage these strategies. And
Absolutely.
I love the idea of leveraging these strategies in a win-win scenario, because there you go again. It doesn't make sense if I win, if you don't win with me. And that's how I see using these strategies for the support of charities that are meaningful to you. So one of the things I volunteer every year now for the Bike for Brain. So, you shut down the Don Valley Parkway in Toronto, and the cyclists ride and donations are received to support brain health research and development. So I love that. I love giving back in that way. I get up at 3 in the morning, crazy, crazy kind of day, but it's okay. One day a year, I get to enjoy doing that. You know what I see on there? I see builders, the names of big corporations that are building houses, multi-billion-dollar projects. They have teams in their t-shirts riding the Bike for Brain. I see other charities riding the Bike for Brain. I see individuals with family that's been impacted by mental health challenges or debilitating brain injuries riding the Bike for Brain. I see every business you can think of. If their name is not on the posters, their t-shirts are on the trails and they're riding the Bike for Brain. I love the idea of finding a charity that is meaningful to you and contributing one way or another. So maybe it's registering for a Bike for Brain, an event, raising funds by the kilometer, I don't know, or it could just be a one-time donation. My question to you, Anick, because this probably falls right in the realm of the work that you do directly. How do you match them up? Like, how do you figure out that this charity, or out of these three charities, they would be a perfect partnership for you or a perfect recipient for the donation that this business or this individual wants to make?
So it has to be a conversation. I'll tell you, you can have. I'll give you three examples so you see how it can match. It could be because of your product or service. The charity could be linked with your product or service. The charity could be linked to the neighborhood where you are. The charity could be linked to your customers. The charity could be linked to your employees, right? So I have examples of, there was an office. I don't even remember the business. All I know is that one of the secretaries that was there for a long time, she she had a breast cancer. And so it impacted the whole office, and they saw the struggle that she went through. And so when it came time to decide who do we want to support, what type of organization we want to support, they all decided breast cancer
Yeah,
organization, right? It has nothing to do with their product, nothing to do with their service. It had everything to do with the employees. So that
right.
is, what do your employees care about? And what are you going to do? Are you going to volunteer? Are you going to donate? Are you going to fundraise? So that's what I mean. There's a conversation. Sometimes
Right.
it's the customers. There's an example in the US where there was a bar, maybe a diner in front of a park. And in that park, they had soccer tournaments, soccer games every Saturday and Sunday. And sometimes the kids and the parents would come and eat at the diner afterwards.
Right.
So what did at some point, the diner, they started sponsoring the tournaments. So now at the tournaments, everybody on the t-shirt has the diner that's across the street that everybody can see. And
That's
now
right.
everybody at the tournament has a 5% or 10%, or everybody gets a free hot dog, right? But then he gets to attract more people.
Of
He did
course.
give something, but he also gets something in
Right.
return. So,
Win-win.
right. So this is in terms of location. What makes sense in terms of location? What do you see around you? So there's several examples like this where, and there's an example that a company I work with, and it's public because we've made some articles about it. It's the company Go Easy
Mhm.
Financials. So
Mhm.
they were looking for an organization to donate to, but they had
Yeah.
very specific. They say it needs to be about youth, mental health, or something like this. They went through our directory, find an
Mhm.
organization, and then we made the connection, right?
Right.
Youth mental health has nothing to do with Go Easy Financials, their
No,
product or
it does not.
services. Right, exactly. So that means it could be different things. It depends on the story.
Yeah.
And that's why there's a conversation that needs to happen. This is how I usually start the conversation and give those
Mhm.
examples so people can see, and first of all, I always ask why. Why do you want to be uh match with a nonprofit. I think that's sometimes the
Right.
Rex. When you have the why, you can now kind of lead the conversation. But there's really different ways about it. And
Yeah.
but again, I like that question because this is something that I want to be able to put forth more so people
Mhm.
see the different examples and they see that it's possible. Because a lot of people say, well, I was about to use in your area. I'm an accountant. What can I do? You know?
Uh-huh.
But you can sponsor an event and your card is there, your name is there, you get to speak at the event, or maybe you get to lead a financial literacy
Yep.
workshop, right? So there's ways. There's
Yeah.
ways. I just think that there are ways, and I'm confident enough, I'm resourceful enough that I can find a way.
Yeah. Oh,
Absolutely.
I believe it. I believe it. And I love that. I love that trust that you have in we can find a way.
Mm,
And we can find that match. Because to be honest, I think philanthropy is healthy, period.
mhm,
I think finding or supporting something outside of yourself is just good practice. It's
mhm,
healthy for our social well-being. It's healthy for the structure of our communities. And it's healthy, especially in North America, where we have so much. And trust
mhm,
me, if you look at the rest of the world, even us here in having difficult economic times, we still have so much
mhm,
that is ours to use, to control, to make use of. So I think philanthropy is good for us. Period. It takes us
mhm,
out of our that feeling of we're all good where we are and not looking at anything else. It takes us out of our silo, remove some of the blinders,
mhm,
and helps you to impact others positively. I want to
mhm,
ask you two questions. One, do you solicit donors? Okay, so you are Support Black Charities. Are you
mhm.
expecting Black people and Black businesses to support Black charities? Are you expecting non-BIPOC entities to support Black charity? Or are you taking it from everywhere? Whosoever will may come.
Everywhere, everywhere, and I have a story for all of them.
Hmm.
If it's within our community, and I define Black philanthropy a little bit differently. The way I define it is I define it as is the relationship between is the mutual beneficial relationship between organizations, businesses, and the community. When you
Hmm.
have those three working together, um, for me that's Black philanthropy because Black philanthropy is um, a transaction that helps the welfare, the well-being, the elevation of the Black community. And within, I even add, which is very specific to our community, is cultural preservation. Um,
Mm,
so for me, when I speak to Black businesses, I tell them you're helping your cousin, you're helping your mother, you're helping your family,
yes,
you're
that's
helping the
right.
neighborhood if that's the neighborhood you live in, and it tells a bigger story. If
Right.
it's outside of the community, I try to talk a little bit more about systemic racism and the reason why there are gaps um, for the Black community, certain things access sometimes
Mhm.
that's not there because of systemic racism. I
Yeah.
don't like to use the racism card, but I'm it's a good tool if I can say this.
Yeah.
But this is a way to really showcase the gap between access to different resources within education, within health. These are things that were there, they were put in place, and we're still lingering, having problems with those. So I tell other communities, I want to educate them on these specific issues and say that's why the Black community needs help. Not so much because they can't do it from themselves. It's because they've been put back for so long. And now
Mm-hmm.
we need to even things up, and it's gonna take other people to help, right?
Yeah.
So that's the conversation that I have differently for different people. But also for me is that if you're in your community, again, nobody wins unless everybody wins. If you're in the community and you see there are organizations that are there, they're fundraising for something, helping them succeed is helping you at the same time. So
That's right.
I use this in different this expression for different things, but for me, I think everybody can help because there's different things. Some is for cultural preservation. Some organizations are there to bridge the gap
Mm-hmm.
left by the systemic racism,
Right.
and so in that case, everybody can help. And
Yeah.
and I know some people they just want to get that tax receipt. So
Yeah.
why not
We'll
help
take
when
it.
help is needed?
We'll take
Exactly.
it. We'll take it one way or another. Okay,
Mhm.
so my second question has to do with the trust factor. And I'll be very transparent here.
Mhm.
Being part of so back home, I'm from St. Lucia. For those who are new to the Catalyst the Conversations podcast or my work, I'm from St. Lucia, and in Creole we would say they have bobol. Bobol is how we refer to these underhanded, under the table, not
Mhm.
transparent
Mhm.
transactions that often take place inside of organizations that front themselves as charitable.
Mhm.
Now, coming from a country where it was, I mean, black people rule because it is
Mhm.
a black country, it's a Caribbean nation. I
Mhm.
saw that, and it actually created in me and in many people a distrust
Mhm.
of some black run charities and not for profits.
Mhm.
I know that it's probably something that comes up for you in conversation, probably
Mhm.
especially when you're going to other Black organizations looking for support for some of these Black led, Black
Mhm.
focused charities.
Mhm.
How do you address that? And again, this is born out of systems that were in place to ensure that we don't look good when we're doing these things. But like you said,
Mhm.
the race thing is there, it's
Mhm.
systemic, we know it's there. But how do you help us trust
Mhm.
in the processes and you know the underworkings, the underpinnings of these other organizations that truly want to do some good in there?
Very good question. I always say that the Black community has trust issues
Oh
when it comes
yes.
to organizations. I do also want to say that I know we say this of our community, but it's in all communities. It's just we don't tend to think that they do it, but
Oh,
they
they
do it.
do it. I know
Yeah.
they do it.
Yes. So I've heard so many different. I mean, people when you have a name like Support Black Charities, the first thing that people think is I'm giving out money.
Yeah.
So if you see the emails that I get, and I told my team that one day I'm going to make a collage or something with all the emails that I get with the different questions that people are asking. But
Uh-huh.
I'll say this: one of our programs is we have a directory,
Mhm.
and the directory is vetted. So we vet organization according to 7 points. And that's important for our reputation, for their reputation.
Yes.
And I think this is something that I tell nonprofits. Have to be, we have to go above and beyond
Yeah,
because of statements like you just said. It's ingrained that people just don't trust nonprofits,
that's
right?
right.
Or charities. So we have to go above and beyond. We have to be bold, and we have to go like really above and beyond to gain the trust. And
Right.
sometimes it's opening your book, sometimes it's giving more than receiving. So this is something that we're constantly working on. And on our side, we're working on something right now, and I guess I can say it because it's almost there. I've always had how do you say this? Is it the monkey? No, not the monkey on your back. What is it? Imposter
Yeah,
syndrome.
probably. Yeah,
Imposter syndrome,
that's
meaning that
right.
I feel like I'm not doing enough.
Right.
I
Yep.
always feel like I need to do more so people see that I'm serious.
Yep.
And so we have a project where it's going to be called SBC Impact. It's a website, SBC Impact, and we're going to show all our metrics in real time.
Wow.
Because we want people to, that's our way of being bold about
Right.
what we're doing in our metrics and how we're growing, where we're spending the money, and so on. What percentage of what we get gets here, and things like that. So this is still being built. So we'll see um, throughout the year. Definitely 2025, it's coming out. But you have to go above and beyond, and there's a structure to fundraising.
Right.
You have to have something before. I'll tell you, some of the emails that I get are, we're starting our nonprofit and we need money to start it. I said, it's not how it works. It doesn't work like that. You need the plan first. You need to
Yes.
outline the plan, outline exactly what money you need for what,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can fundraise. But also it depends on what journey you have. If you have a track record, it's a lot easier because you can show what you've done
Yes.
before. If you're brand new, I always say, if you're brand new, the first 2 to 3 years you're funding it.
Yes.
You and your family and your friends, it's your charity, it's your nonprofit, you're going to fund it.
Yep.
Once you have a couple of initiative, you have some track record, yes, then it's easier to go ask for sponsorship and go ask for a grant, go apply for a grant, because you have a track record. You can show,
Right.
last year I received $1,000, I helped 200 kids. This year I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking for 2,000 so I can help 400 kids, right?
Right.
So you can now say that story and people can see the evidence. So the evidence is pictures, videos, impact reports, all of this. So that's kind of what we look at when we vet
Mm-hmm.
organizations. And we're actually revamping, excuse me, we're revamping our vetting process to
Okay.
be a little bit more specific.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because now we're interacting with more corporations, and
Yes.
corporations are coming to us with very specific things that they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're trying to revamp our vetting process to make sure that we're okay. But it's important to be to the level of what the industry demands,
Yep.
and all the way to having your own bank account,
Oh
right? I've
yeah.
had organizations that have a website and everything, and the donation goes to a cash app to somebody's bank account. I
Oh
can't, I can't deal with
no.
that. And I have to say, I want to preface by saying that there's a lot of things that I've learned. I think I started the organization, I went in head first, and then I started learning about things. So there's a lot of things that I've learned myself, and I'm just trying to now share it and with
Right.
proven solutions and things like this. So the bank account is a big thing. Having um, donor, being able to receive donations online. That's
Mm-hmm.
another thing.
Right.
If somebody has to send a check somewhere,
Yeah.
people are not going to do this today. Everything is digital.
Right.
So things like this, making sure that your website is up to date, making sure that uh, your leadership team, you can see their position, their name, and social proof. The social proof is LinkedIn, a LinkedIn link.
Yeah.
So you can go and see that they're real people. And you can see
Right.
a little bio, a picture even. Sometimes you don't see pictures, and I'm just like, "Ah, I don't know if that's a real person." Today, that's who we are. We need we need we need a
Yeah.
video, we need a picture. I mean, sometimes somebody tells me, do you know about this person? The first thing I do is I go on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We need social proof to see that they're real
Yeah.
people. So,
Yeah, I never even thought of that. I actually, because every board that I've been on, we've had to display anyone in direct the board members. And I remember
mhm,
every year they're calling us, update your information. I need your phone number. I need your this and that. And I'm like, but
mhm,
why? All of
mhm,
this, why? And then
yeah,
there it is. There
mhm,
has, especially in this day of AI and I'll
mm,
call it alternative facts.
mhm, yes,
You really need to know that there is a real person behind the
mhm,
name, the number, the email address, that it's
mhm,
not just all being created to create an illusion. And I never actually
exactly.
thought of LinkedIn as a way
Mhm.
to verify identity, but yes.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be LinkedIn. It could also be
Yeah,
Facebook. But people need to see the story. Why are you in this organization? Do you have lived experience? Do you have your credentials? There needs to be something, right? So
right.
these are all things that we look at to vet. And so people like yourselves, that's the same type of vetting that you should be able to do. And you're going to go through some that you're like, there's some websites I go to and I'm like, I don't know what they do. They have a
Mm,
whole website, and I have no idea what they do. It doesn't say, it's not clear right away. So that's
Right.
another thing. We make sure that the mission is is clear,
Mhm.
and the call to action is also clear, right?
Right.
So, and also what they do, what type of programs do they have, the showing a track record. So these are all things that donors should be informed on doing before they, or supporters or donors or even volunteers. So that's why our directory, we try to take these questions out to say we vetted them. So now
Yes.
you don't have to ask yourself those questions. You can go on the directory and find an organization um, to support. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have corporations that interact with us, because they know we have a vetted directory. So
Mhm.
it's easier to interact when you know that part is done.
Yeah.
So it's you're totally right. There are trust issues. I think we have to go above and beyond. Um, any charity has to go above and beyond to prove what they do, the impact, the outcome, who they are, their plans. It's important to do that because everybody wants to know where the money goes,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you need to show where the money goes.
Yeah.
I'm, this is very, very important. And I think there was a report, I don't know if you know that report that came out in 2020 that said that in Canada, they did a research on the biggest foundations, the private
Mhm.
foundations, and they found out that the 0.01 cent out of a dollar goes to Black organizations. So out
Wow.
of the whole money that's been given, only not even 1 cent, 0.01. So,
Wow.
and you can deconstruct this in several ways. Yes,
Mhm.
systemic racism, or just that they don't think about us, or these private foundations, they prefer to give to, it was introduced to me as the mush group. So the museums, universities, schools, and hospitals,
Hospitals. Yes.
right?
Yep.
These are all institutions that the Black community doesn't have.
Correct.
We don't have museums. Well, there's a few in
Yep.
Halifax. Museums, universities, we don't. Schools, very, very few.
Right.
Hospitals, we don't.
Right.
So yes, so there's a gap there.
Yeah.
Big corporation, they like the big foundations, they give big money to get the big tax benefits
That's
to the
right.
mush group. And we're not there. So, but how do we make ourselves visible? So that's the part that I want to play. I want to help organizations become more visible, but also more attractive to those foundations. So
Right.
what do you have? You have your impact report, you have your a little bit what you do, your programs, your track record, your leadership team, your board, everybody knows who's there, the
Mm.
how many times their credentials. So that's a little bit the work of Support Black Charities, is to be, I always say this, is to be able to help organizations be donor ready and investor ready. So what
Yes.
do you have that you become attractive to those foundations? And how do we become more visible to those $50 million
Oh, yes,
that
and
that is
more.
been given? Yes, that is been
Yeah.
given.
Yeah.
So yeah, so trust is everything,
Yeah.
and we have to work at it
Yeah.
constantly. That
Trust.
I don't have a
Trust.
magic pill. We have to work at it.
And connections too. I think when we come to the table, when we are moving in the spaces where these conversations are happening, we get to know others, we get to let others know about us, we
Mhm,
get to learn about strategies like you're doing with the insurance as a strategy growth opportunity.
mhm,
You're getting to be in the spaces where these things are happening, and again, another win-win.
mhm,
Honestly, for some people, I know that there are allies to the Black, Indigenous, people of color communities.
mhm,
They just don't know. They just don't know where to go or how to help.
mhm,
They don't realize that there are some of these things available. And I'm so thankful for the work of Support Black Charities, because now there is a visible place, a place
mhm,
that is looking to make some noise and make some moves
mhm,
in these spaces, where they're going
mhm,
to say, hey, I'm hearing about this Support Black Charities. What is it? What do they do? And so on. And in doing so, the better you do your work, the more these charities within your directory under your
Absolutely.
umbrella are going to benefit. They'll get visibility that they would never get on their own because
Mm-hmm.
they don't have that collective support that says, hey, look at me, I'm here. When we
Yeah.
try to do it by ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
it's so much more work than
Mm-hmm.
if we can come together under umbrella, we can shine that much brighter. So
Absolutely.
I'm really impressed by the work that
Thank you.
Support Black Charities is doing. And I can't wait to be at the next gala to hear more of that report. I can't wait
Mm-hmm.
to see the impact numbers that go up on your website so we can
Mm-hmm.
see these things in
Yes.
real time and help further boost that trust factor. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see the lives that are impacted. I'm a big believer in that ripple effect, Anick. I
Absolutely.
think,
Absolutely.
one charity's ripple is already significant.
Mm-hmm.
All these charities in all these countries coming together and
Mm-hmm.
creating meaningful change in their area of service, my
Mm-hmm.
mind is blown. So I don't know how you do it. I don't know when you'll ever get to take that vacation by the beach, but I hope you're finding great feedback and getting that reassurance that the
Absolutely.
imposter on your shoulder is a
Mm-hmm.
liar and you are doing great work. Believe it.
And for me, what's fun is that, like you said, support Black charities means different things to different people.
Yeah.
So for somebody looking for support,
Mhm.
they come to us. For somebody looking to support, they also come to us. So we're in the middle and we're able
Mhm.
to make those connections. It's a great place to be. And for me and my team, we're constantly looking to the different facets of support. How can we support more? So support, yes, organizations, and we've created a program called Business Development Assessment for Nonprofits. So
Mhm.
through a series of services, we help nonprofits become sustainable from governance, fundraising, impact measurement, and so on. And then we're also helping donors. So we have a lot of people, and you said that a little bit. Who do I give to?
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know who to give to, but you really care about food security and you want
Mhm.
to make a difference within food security. So we also create a platform that people can donate by cause. And what
Mhm.
this does is if you donate an amount to a cause, the amount that you give will be evenly distributed to all the organizations that are listed under that cause.
Nice.
Food security, poverty, all the way to what we're using is the UN's SDGs. I don't know if you've ever seen they have like pretty little colors. They have 17 SDGs. I think the red one is no poverty. The orange one is zero hunger, um, quality education, wellness, being and health, all the way to gender equality, entrepreneurship. They have 17. These are the
Mhm.
17 sustainable development goals of the UN. So
Yeah.
we just use their platform and we have an initiative called Global Black Philanthropy Initiative. And so we
Mhm.
invite people that if you don't know who to give to, maybe you want to give back to a cause. And when you do, you know that you're instantly making a global impact because it could
Yes.
be an organization in Toronto, in the US, in Haiti, in
Oh,
Kenya,
wow.
in Uganda. So you have it's just for us we love coming up with ways to to make it easier. Actually, that's actually the tagline, to make it easier for people to donate and to get involved.
Yeah.
So that we have five initiative and another big one coming soon about food insecurity. This one is going to be specifically for Ontario because all the different cities in Ontario are declaring food insecurity emergency.
Absolutely. Yep.
So we're coming up with something. We're really excited about what we're working on behind the scenes, again, to be able to help our community
Yeah.
because food insecurity is affecting us disproportionately. We have people that are working full time but still don't eat 3 times a day
Yeah.
um, for many reasons. But and this what gets me excited is just continuously finding ways, not only to help organizations, but to also help donors, make it easier for donors to
Yeah.
donate, right? So it's
Yes.
just putting out information for people to understand. And thank you so much for inviting me to this, because I feel like I shared a lot in these little things. I love being able to give kind of that point of view,
Yep.
uh, because it's things that I think I like. I read so much. I go on websites. I'm in conference, workshops, online, different things in our community, outside of our community, just to
Hmm.
learn of how others are doing it, and I'm able to kind of come up with something specific to what we want to do. But um, yeah, essentially, there's anybody can do it, whether you're an individual, a business, volunteer. There's something to do with Black organizations, and I'm hoping that I can put that message out.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? While you're doing that, maybe part of this is just me thinking here. Part
Mhm,
of the directory should include opportunities to volunteer.
mhm,
Because me personally, I've served on boards. I went through a year of a lot of challenge, and I resigned from everything. I didn't have the capacity anymore
mhm,
at that
mhm,
point. And now that I'm rejuvenated, I'm back on track mentally, emotionally, I'm ready to give again. And
mhm,
I'm having a bit of a time
mhm,
figuring out which boards I want to be part of, where I
mhm,
know the things that are impactful to me. And
mhm,
I was introduced to vicarious trauma in one of the positions that I held, because we were dealing with a lot of sensitive things, and we had to learn to deal with that. So, where do I want my energy right now? Where are the opportunities for me to serve? If there was a
mhm.
space that could make it easy, I would love that, because right now I'm doing that research on my own.
Yes.
That's just an idea for something
It's
else.
yes, it's a great idea, and we can definitely talk offline about it. There are opportunities, but what I would say is that we have thought about it.
Okay.
But it's a platform. It's an
Right.
online platform that needs to be built, and so
Yes.
we need resources.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, so that's yes, we have, and this has been an ask of, if you search through on the directory, if you go into the category, there is one for current need volunteer. You will see organization, so you can filter volunteer Toronto and see. But in terms of board, um, you might not. The way our website is set up, we weren't able to go to filter down to three. It's
You're
just a
right.
technicality.
Oh, that's
Um,
okay.
yeah, but I hear what you're saying, and this is one of the things that um, I think one of the things in the Black organizations that can help the trustworthiness is the governance,
Yeah.
to solidify it. And you once you know what you need, you know what you're looking for, you put the applications out there.
Yeah.
So we can definitely talk offline about this. I know of several things that you can look into, but this is a platform, absolutely. There are a few organizations that I know that do that for BIPOC, to put
Hmm.
them um, in board positions.
Right.
I think there's a board diversity something, a group that they're
Hmm.
looking to diversify the boards of organizations,
Right.
um, but also help the black community with their boards.
Right.
So we can talk about that. But it's I'll tell you that we have 5 programs right now and the sixth one coming up. When I
Right.
first got together with the business developer that I'm working with, I had 26 ideas.
I bet you did.
I had 26 ideas. And he said, okay, let's start with this first, develop them to a point where they become sustainable, and then we'll
Right.
move on to the rest. So I know that the volunteer platform, the matching volunteers platform, is somewhere on that list, but
Yes,
also with the advancement of AI, we're going to revisit that list because a lot of things can now be done.
that's
And
true.
I'm an AI enthusiast. I do everything. I'm in it every day.
Yes.
So, and this is something that that I find joy in. But I think things could come faster with AI now. We can build
Hmm.
platforms a little bit faster.
Right.
But yes, this is the next progression.
Yeah.
This and finding grants. We do have a resource page where we put grant and funding opportunities. This is our most visited page
Okay.
on the website because you can search by, it's not search, it's listed by country, by deadlines, and by kind of project type.
Sweet.
But this at some point will become a platform because it's our most visited page. So people are
Right.
looking for funding opportunities, and it makes sense when people ask us for money to say, go see our page.
Yes, for sure. Well, this was so good. I learned a lot, and
Mm,
I'm fairly certain that our viewers and listeners also learned a lot. So, Annie, tell us please, where can we find you online in all of the interwebs? How
mm.
can we get in touch when we need something that we believe you can provide?
Absolutely, and invite people to email us and ask us questions. For us, the same way I said that we're a platform that supports and that is there for people who need support and people who are looking to support. We
Mhm.
want to hear from people. This is how we're able to kind of cater our programs.
Right.
So I would just say go on our website and it's supportblackcharities.org. Our email is info@supportblackcharities.org. I am on LinkedIn. Please interact with us on social media. We are on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and we have to get into TikTok. So we have TikTok as well. It's just we have to go where the people are, right? This
Yeah.
is this is one of the things. But yes, to do what we do, we need to hear from people's challenges,
Yeah.
right? That's how we can cater our support. So I invite people to let us know what they're looking for and see how we can help. This is really how we get to do our mission, fulfill our mission.
Oh, fantastic. I feel good just having had this conversation, and I think we've achieved the goal of creating a catalyst for the listener to
Mhm.
do something, to not
Yes.
just sit on the idea, not just think about supporting a Black charity, but to actually take the next step and do, like, take that feeling and take an
Mhm.
action step. So I'm really, really excited. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Anick Silencieux has been a phenomenal guest for us today. I am so thrilled. And Anick, I look forward to having you on again. Thank you so
Mhm.
much.
Thank you for the opportunity to share. I know I spoke a lot. When I start talking, my passion, excuse my passion. That's what I
No
say. Excuse my
way.
passion, but I appreciate the opportunity and I love what you're doing to showcase different people authentically and having this conversation. So I appreciate your time and I appreciate this so much.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, until next time, everyone, thanks for being part of Catalyst Conversations. I will see you on our next episode. Take care. Ah, yeah. Thank you for joining me today on Catalyst Conversations. I hope this episode sparked something powerful to help on your journey to building wealth confidently and unapologetically. If you loved today's conversation, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if something resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep moving toward your goals, stay empowered, and continue sparking change on your wealth journey. This is Hadriana, and you've been listening to Catalyst Conversations.